You all set to go?
Yes, as much as I'll ever be.
Great. So today we are very honored to be in the home of Kendrick Wilson. And the date today is June 1st, 2022. So Kendrick, we again feel very honored to be with you and to have this little video interview with you about your life and different aspects of it. So why don't we begin by having you just simply say your full name and where you were born.
Kendrick Poland Wilson, the old eye and ear infirmary in Portland.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And when were you born?
10/10/30.
10/10/30. Okay. How wonderful. Could you tell us a little about your background, starting with your parents? What were your parents' names?
Henry Kendrick Wilson, and he was from the west end of here, Cape Papas, not Cape Papas, excuse me.
Was it Cundy's Harbor?
Cundy's Harbor, yes.
Okay.
But I never lived in Portland.
Mm-hmm. Right. And how about your mother? What's her full name and where was she from?
Geneva Poland Wilson, and she was born at Round Pond at her great aunt Abby's house, her great aunt Abby's sister's house.
Okay. And could you tell us a little about your mother? What did she do and
Well, she lived on Lowndes Island, but came off in the middle of the winter to stay with her mother's aunt, or great aunt, right in the middle of Round Pond.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, she went to grammar school in Round Pond last year because her mother had consumption. That was TB. It was called consumption then. And her father was afraid she'd catch it, so that's why.
Tell us a little more about your mother and where she was from and what she did.
Okay. Her father was afraid that she'd catch consumption, so she stayed with a great aunt, Thompson, was the aunt's last name, right in the middle of Round Pond. And so they didn't know what grade she should be in because she'd never, the islanders practically seceded from during the Civil War. So after that, they had their own schoolhouse, which served also as a church. Mm-hmm. And but she thought she should be in the 8th grade. And so they gave her a test, and she passed it for the 8th grade. Oh. Then after that, she went to Lincoln and graduated from Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. And didn't she go back as a teacher in the one-room schoolhouse out there?
No.
Oh, she didn't.
She went to a few small schoolhouses, and she went to Friendship, Long Island. She taught there.
Oh, in Friendship, Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And another one in the western part of the state. And then she taught at Cundy's Harbor. That's where she met Dad, I guess.
I see. And tell me about your dad. What did he do for work, and what was his life like?
Well, he was in Cundy's Harbor, and a Captain York wanted him to go on his fishing boat. They went up after swordfish and like that off Nova Scotia. Mm-hmm. And so he asked Dad's father about Dad going with him, and Dad said that he said Henry's just a boy, and this Captain York said, I think Henry'd do all right. So I guess he quit school in about the sixth grade. Mm-hmm. But he could help me with my algebra. And he was quite well read, actually.
Wow. So he went to work for Charlie York. Was that on the schooner Lochinvar?
I believe so.
Okay. So he started when he was 12 years old then.
Right around that.
How wonderful. And did he always go with Charlie York fishing?
Oh, well, I don't know just how long he went with him.
Yeah.
They were staying in Portland when Dad and a guy named Scott Crawford, it was foggy, and York couldn't find them,
Wow.
and it was so foggy, and then it breezed up real bad, and Dad said he'd given anything for a drink of water, but he managed to keep the dory afloat.
Wow.
And got picked up. And York didn't get picked up, so they were all set to have his funeral down in Nova Scotia. When when he got picked up but dropped off in the southern port.
I see. Right. Right.
And my mother said she seen Dad coming. He was all grinning, and the first thing he said is they found Scotty.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, how long was he on the ocean for, looking for the Lochinvar or before he got to shore?
Oh, about Dad, I guess about 3 days.
3 days
And
in the dory.
Scott Crawford, somewhat
Oh,
longer.
my goodness. And where did he come ashore when he was rowing in that dory?
Oh, well, I don't think he did.
Oh,
He'd almost make it and then get carried away.
Oh, I see. Right. That's amazing. But your dad then fished most of his life?
Yeah,
How old was he when he died?
63. He died suddenly. He was fishing out of Portland, and he was laying on the couch waiting for dinner, the midday meal,
Yeah.
and my mother couldn't rouse him, so saw someone that they called a super. I guess he did odd jobs around there. And she said she couldn't believe it, that the fire department got there,
Yeah.
but they called it something like an optical occlusion or something like that.
I see. Yes.
And he died instantly, which is a way to go, but it's an awful shock.
Wow. Wow.
I was over the Med in the Navy and came home on emergency leave.
I see. Right.
I left southern Italy to Sicily, to Morocco, to the Azores, to Argentina, Newfoundland. This was scorching hot in the Mediterranean
Amazing.
in the summer. And I think it was late August, and Argentina and Newfoundland felt cold when I got off the plane. Then I came flew way down to Maryland, had to take a bus. It went right over Rumford. Had to take the bus back.
And was his funeral here in Round Pond or was it in Cundy's Harbor?
It was up in Portland.
Oh, okay. Okay. How about
I didn't go to it
You didn't
because,
go to it.
well, I didn't get back in time.
I see. Right.
I bought a stone for him.
Oh, nice.
And I don't remember that funeral was a financial hardship that you go through here unless you're cremated.
Oh, yes. Right. Right.
Because as I say, I bought a stone. I think it was only $300,
Sure.
and I don't remember the cost other than that.
And wasn't he buried down in Cundy's Harbor?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And how about your grandparents? Do you remember them at all?
No, well, Ev Polar was my mother's father. I can only remember him very slightly. And he had a shock. They called strokes shocks back then. He had a shock, and I guess his balance was off. So my mother would be afraid that he'd fall into me, and one of us would get hurt. And so I was trained to stand in the corner. Papa's coming. I had to get in the corner.
And where was he living in Round Pond at that time?
Well, the house that my mother, my parents and I and my sister lived in,
Oh, I see.
it was, the Masters had just bought it now.
Oh, did they?
It's a big house. I fixed it all up.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love that house.
Yeah.
Such a pretty house.
That had nice level floors, even though it was fairly old.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. So your grandfather was there on your mother's side. How about the Wilsons? Do you remember your grandfather Wilson?
No. I think she died real young.
Mm-hmm.
She had cancer, I guess, I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
And she had two sons.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go up and visit one of them's family,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'd come down and visit here in Roundpond.
Sure. What was it like growing up as a young boy with your parents?
Well, it was pretty pleasant childhood, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did you go to school here in Round Pond?
Oh, yeah.
To the Washington School?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember the names of any of your teachers?
Well, there was one called, well, my first one was Thelma Sproul.
Oh.
It's Thelma Baker now.
Yeah.
And she lived to be way into her 90s. So if I chanced to see her, later I'd tell somebody, well, I'd say, well, I was just talking with my first teacher. What? Your first teacher? She's still alive? No, I kind of like to do that.
That's wonderful. Very, very nice. Great. And then after Washington School, did you go to high school here?
I went 3 years to Bristol.
Okay.
Then I was going to go to college,
Yeah.
and I didn't have Latin 1, which, I mean, because Bristol had Latin,
Oh.
but they staggered it.
Oh.
So the year I needed Latin 1, it was Latin 2. I couldn't take that without having to take Latin 1. Although actually it wouldn't make any difference. I was a terrible Latin student. So I think Dad paid it.
I see.
Lincoln's tuition wasn't that anywhere near that bad back then.
That's right.
So my last year I went to Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. And how did you get there?
Gordon Fawcett had a used car,
Okay.
and some of us rode with him and paid him all the gas.
How wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you do after Lincoln Academy? Did you go fishing after that, or did you go into the...
Well, I might have had a few traps out, but no, I went to Florida
Oh, Florida.
for the winter.
I see. And what did you do down there?
Well, I got a job in a hotel,
Wow.
working with the housekeeping outfit, and it was an easy job, and you got room and board there, and the maid was from Scotland, and she and her sister were the maids for the workers.
Mm-hmm.
And my roommate was room service waiter, and he made all kind of tips, because I didn't make tips.
Mm-hmm.
So the woman that I had, they were all red-haired. She wouldn't take a tip from me because I went to tip her. And I said, well, my roommate tips you. She says, yes, but he's a room service waiter. He gets all kind of tips. She says, I can't take a tip from you, and she wouldn't.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
How long did you do that at the hotel in Florida? How long did you work there?
Oh, just the winter.
Oh, just the one winter.
What's
Yeah.
the hotel name? Do you
Huh?
remember, do you remember the hotel name?
Yeah, the Flamingo.
And that was in West Palm, maybe?
No, that was in Miami Beach.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So did you come back to Round Pond after the...
Yeah, yes, I did.
And did
And
you...
the first time I left home to work, when I was in my teens, I went to Rooster County and picked up potatoes.
Oh,
I boarded with a farm family, and so I enjoyed that.
nice, nice. And in terms of your parents, going back to them a little bit, when you were growing up, were they involved in any church here or any religious life?
Well, my mother went to the white church
White church.
pretty regularly,
Yeah.
and I went to Sunday school.
Oh, yeah. Great. And did they have any political beliefs? Were they a part of the Republican Party, the Democrat Party?
Well,
Independents?
Dad was pretty much independent, but my mother's family had been Democrats from the Civil War on.
Oh,
They didn't, for some reason, they didn't like Lincoln,
oh,
and so during the Civil War, I don't think they did right at first, but then they had to go to conscription.
oh, yeah.
That meant that you either paid a fee or you served.
Right.
And Bristol was having a little trouble getting, filling their quota.
Yes.
So they took and conscripted every man on the island.
Oh, and loud time.
Yeah, of draft age.
Yes.
So they protested.
Yeah.
Because for some reason they didn't want any part of the Civil War. They didn't like Lincoln, and
Yeah.
I never knew too much as to the why.
Mm-hmm.
But they agreed that they would give 3 men,
Oh,
and they all paid $300, which was a lot of money at that time.
mm-hmm.
And my mother's grandfather, John Loud, was one of the ones that conscripted. I did know the other two, but I can't remember now.
I see. So you're
One might have been McGray.
okay. Interesting. And
One of my mother's ancestors, Seward Poland, was in the Revolutionary War.
oh, of Seward, yes, he's the original person on Marsh Island.
Yes, yeah, he bought Nash Island from Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yes, exactly. And growing up, Kendrick, what kind of activities did you do at Christmas or Thanksgiving around the holidays? What types of things would you do? How would you celebrate them?
Well, had a good meal, of course. Oh, you had Christmas presents. We had a tree.
Okay,
When I was old enough, I'd cut one myself.
nice. How about Thanksgiving?
Well, we had a good meal. That's about it, I guess.
Yeah. Anything around Easter or other types of religious holidays? Or were they just a
was quite religious, so she went to church pretty regular until her health failed her.
I see, right. Okay. Do you remember other relatives that you had that were especially important to you?
Well, I'd say Uncle Billy down to New Hammer, and Aunt Helen and Uncle Nash on the island, Uncle Fred Teal, and Aunt Mame and Tommy.
Uncle Nash on the island, is that Nash, Poland?
Yes.
Okay,
Nelson Jr. was his real name.
okay, right. And tell me about your siblings. I know it's Barbara, but what was your relationship with Barbara?
Not too bad. Of course, Barbara stayed with my mother for a good many years.
Yeah. And what kind of things would you do together?
Oh, take a ride, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what did Barbara do when she was growing up?
Well, she just played with other girls her age, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Is Barbara older than you or younger?
She's a year and a half younger.
Oh, a year and a half. Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. Great. And I assume that she went to the same schools that you went to also.
Well, she went to Bristol all 4 years.
Oh, okay. Right. Right. And when you were growing up, did you think of yourself as average income, low income? wealthy? Where were you economically in terms of Round Pond life?
Well, probably somewhere the average if you didn't count the summer kids.
I see, right, right. So was there a pretty sizable summer population at that time growing up?
Yeah, there was more kids then
Yeah.
than there is now.
And would you play together or were there you kind of separate?
No, we pretty much played together.
Nice.
There was way more boys than girls, so
Oh,
I've been shortchanged for a long time.
and growing up, what were your responsibilities and duties, when you were a young boy? Did you have to do the dishes, cut the wood? What kind of responsibilities did you have?
Well, yeah, somewhat take care of the wood, shovel snow, not normal activity.
How did you heat your house?
Well, partly wood and partly oil.
Okay, right, right.
And for a while they used coal, but not very long.
Sure, sure. Great. Um, what kind of meals would your mother prepare if your mother cooked them? Did your dad ever cook or did...
Oh, once in a while he did board fishing boats, so.
Sure, right.
But it was mainly my mother. Yeah. Oh, we had quite a lot of seafood, of course,
Sure.
and with vegetables.
Nice. And did your dad fish all day long and then bring home different fish as well as lobsters, or?
Well, no, he did bring some home, but mainly he'd be gone for a week or so, then be home a while. If he was home, timed it right, why he'd have 4th of July, he'd have new potatoes and peas, which was good.
Right. So what you're saying is he didn't fish out of Round Pond. He went on other schooners and other bigger boats.
Mainly.
Yeah.
Once in a while he'd lobsters out around Pond, but not very much. At New Harbor he did a little bit.
And was he on the Lochinvar with Charlie York most of his days?
No, probably not.
I see.
A fairly good part of his days, but not.
Right. Right. Great. Tell me about when you finished in, again, Florida. You came back and then had some time in Aroostook County. When did you start going fishing here, or what did you do when you came back to Round Pond?
I had a few traps out, but then it was in the fall, so I got a job at Sylvania.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long did you work down there in Waldoboro?
Well, I got caught in the packaging machine because I had a job that I might work 4.5 hours or I might work 14.5 hours.
Wow.
And then the parts guy that was going around filling up the stuff for the women to do the piecework, he got hurt and wasn't in there. They wanted me to take his job too. I said, well, that wouldn't be possible.
No.
And finally I agreed to do it for 4 hours, and that was 4 hours on top of my other work. So I think I must have got overtired. I got caught in the packaging machine and broke my right forearm, both bones.
Wow.
So when I got out of the hospital on that, I was in the hospital, I think it was 8 days, the old main man.
Oh, yeah.
I went back, but I didn't stay.
Oh.
And then when I got over that, I still don't have full motion. I can't turn this hand fully out.
Interesting.
I've adjusted to it.
But you both arms?
Not both arms,
Just...
both bones in the right arm.
Oh, both, I see, right.
See,
Oh, yeah.
they operated on it, but it wasn't successful.
I see.
See, one bone slides over the other.
Yeah.
So, but mine won't because build up of
Right.
healing.
Right. Was Sylvania good to you in terms of the insurance that you received?
Well, yeah, but they lied about it, and I didn't pursue it.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. And then after you then finished with Sylvania, what did you go on to? When did you go in the Navy?
I went in the Navy in '51.
51. Okay. And were you there 2 or 3 years?
4.
And what duty did you do there?
Oh, I was with the electrical guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you go abroad with the Navy?
Oh, yeah, I was at sea most of the time. Well, I went to Great Lakes, and then I went aboard a ship, and I was aboard one ship or another till I got out.
Okay. And you were in 3 years?
4.
Oh, 4 years. Wow.
Well, 4 minus a couple months. The Korean War was going full tilt when I enlisted, and it was pretty well over by the time I was due to get out. So everyone had a 2 months cut, unless if you didn't want it, you could sign up. The guys who were going to make a career out of it were mainly the ones that didn't take it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Navy, but I didn't intend to make a career out of it.
I see. Right. Right.
Yeah, a bunch of us here and a bunch in South Bristol all joined, and they had a little time for us in the Oddfellows Hall
Oh,
before
really?
we went. Yeah,
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
yeah, it was.
Were there other individuals from Round Pond with you when you
Oh
were
yeah,
there?
yeah,
They were all together.
yeah.
Wow. Were the crooks there too? Billy and Bobby?
Billy was.
Okay. That's wonderful. Great. So when you came back from the Navy, then when did you start actually fishing?
Well, a couple of years after that, because of my Sylvania, it was in the fall.
I see.
So I decided I'd find something for a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Sylvania,
Mm-hmm.
but that was kind of a dead-end job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did, so I decided to go lobster.
Now, here in town, who were some of your closest friends?
Well, Billy Crook was, Kenneth Olson, Buddy Poland, Neil Pryor.
Oh, yeah. Right. How did you get along with your parents when you were a teenager?
Well, Dad was away most of the time. My mother was worried about everyone but herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I guess I got along okay overall.
Great. In terms of your personal life, what are the kinds of things that you always enjoy doing, extracurricular types of activities? Were you ever involved in dancing or other?
No. Oh, I was in the Boy Scouts.
Oh, you're in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Nice. Was there a little troop here in Round Pond?
Yeah.
Who was the scoutmaster?
Well, Irvin Smith was for a while, and then Floyd Poland, he was
Oh, yeah.
handicapped. He was the assistant scoutmaster, but he had to pretty much do it because I forget why Irvin kind of dropped out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was a nice guy, Irvin was.
Mm-hmm.
But Floyd, well, he would go on hikes with us, but I don't think he ever went when we stayed overnight.
I see, right, right. And when you went overnight camping, where would you go?
Down below Moxie Cove, which we'd borrow a dory and borrow a tent.
I see, right.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you ever climbed Mount Katahdin?
No,
Oh. Have you camped around Maine?
no. There's a former former director down to the parks And she and another woman
Oh.
showed me some pictures they took when they climbed Mount Katahdin.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful for sure.
Yeah, it appeared to be from the pictures they took.
Kendrick, did you ever play any sports?
Not very much.
Okay. How about music? Do you like music?
My mother,
certain kinds of music?
my mother was musical, but I never was. I don't think Barbara ever was.
Oh, yeah. And when you say your mother was musical, did she play the organ or the piano?
Yeah.
Did she play for the church?
No.
Okay. Yeah. How about in terms of social life around here? Were there opportunities for men and women to get together or different social kinds of scenes here in town?
Well, quite a few went to dances.
And where were the dances?
Oh, down to Granite Hall, which we called a saloon, because I guess years ago it was. And that amused us kids. So I still call it the saloon.
So always upstairs in the Granite Hall stores where the dances were?
Yes.
And did you go to the dances?
Some, but not a whole lot.
Did you dance when you went to the dances?
No. But New Year's before last, they had a time, most of them were strangers.
Oh, yeah.
They had a time, Sarah that owns it now,
Yeah.
had a time upstairs.
Yeah.
Well, it was standing room only.
Wow.
But then after a while, about half of people left, and Frank Bedell's band was playing. So there was a group of women dancing in a circle, holding hands and dancing in a circle.
Oh, yeah.
And when one of them got right abreast of me, she fell over backwards.
Oh, my goodness.
So I put my arm up like that, and she slid right into my lap. So she asked me if I was hurt, and I said I wasn't. She says, well, you and I might as well dance. I says, oh, I don't dance. No. She says, oh, come on. And she practically dragged me on the floor. So I did stagger around with her.
Oh, no.
And then there were two college girls there.
Wow.
One was from Sicily and one was from Baton, which is a little tiny country in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
And so she kept after me. She said, we've got to dance. And I said, oh, no. But I did. And then I also danced with the one from...
Oh, that's so sweet. Very nice.
She was from Palermo. I'd been there in the Navy.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I danced with three without any effort on my part to dance with them. It was kind of comical.
Oh, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Growing up, was there much alcohol that was consumed here in Round Pond? And
Oh, yes.
Where would you buy it?
Well, you'd have to go to Scotty or Boothby or Rocklands.
I see, right.
Yeah.
And how would most people drink as a family? I mean, not as a family, but would most people in town drink, or was it pretty
Well, there was
Methodist, I would say?
Yeah, there was some that didn't drink at all,
Yeah.
and there was some that drank continuously, and then there was some went on benders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Was it ever a problem in Round Pond, or was it pretty reasonable?
yeah, both, I guess.
Great. Where would you do most of your shopping?
Well, because growing up, Dad didn't drive, and we didn't have a car when I was a kid growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So mainly, I tell what's now called King Room
Oh, yeah.
and Bert Steers.
Mm-hmm.
And they both had people come around, certain days of the week, making deliveries,
So Bert Steer,
taking orders.
Bert Steer would make deliveries himself?
Yeah, Ashley,
Workers there?
mainly Ashley, the man that worked for him.
Oh, I see. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So he would deliver milk or meat.
Whatever was on the order,
I see.
he'd take an order for his next delivery.
Mm-hmm. And would you do that daily or just once a week or so?
Probably once or twice a week.
Okay, right.
And our tales, you could walk, just walk over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Was there ever a barber shop in town?
No, but 2-3 people cut hair.
Local folk.
You know, Dad took me up on a sled, I guess, to
Ah.
George Pedley's.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was a carpenter, but he cut hair.
Mm-hmm.
Vander Murphy cut hair.
Oh, wow.
And I think, well, but they had the old hand clippers that didn't need electric power.
Tell me what you did for recreation. What did you do on the weekends with your family? Was there movies or was there any kind of public activities?
Well, I used to, Keith Leeman's my age, and I should have mentioned him with the others. Anyway, we'd go up to the cowboy movies in Damascus,
Mm-hmm.
and his parents would take us, and then when we got older, we'd hitchhike up
Oh, wow.
and hitchhike back.
Mm-hmm. That's anything more than movies for recreation? Were there plays or was there singing activities?
Oh, it's pretty all informal.
Okay, okay. Tell me about your fishing activities. How long did you go lobstering?
Oh, I had a few out before I went in the Navy, and a couple of years after I got out,
Mm-hmm.
why I bought a boat and traps.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, to give you some idea, the last time I lobstered, I was 77.
77.
Well, it wasn't my birthday, but I was 77 plus.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's about it. Winters for a while I went out of New Harbor, but then I stopped going winters and just odd jobbed around.
Mm-hmm. And when you finished fishing at 77, what did you do with your boat?
Well, I kept it that winter in case I wanted to go the next year, but then I decided not to.
Mm-hmm.
So I advertised it for sale,
Mm-hmm.
and I put a reasonable price on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I sold it along with my traps for a reasonable price, and a man in Friendship bought it.
Oh, nice, nice.
A real nice period guy.
Mm-hmm.
He left the traps out here in my dooryard for a while,
Mm-hmm.
which was all right with me, but I said I can't guarantee the safety. I've never had any trouble with people stealing them, but if they did, nothing I can do.
Right. What are the things that you have enjoyed most about Round Pond?
Well, I don't really know.
Do you enjoy Round Pond?
Yes, overall. Overall, yes.
Again, in terms of life now, what do you find yourself doing at present time?
Well, I've been more limited since I broke my neck,
Oh, right, right.
but I am working down at the point 2 days a week.
What is the work down at the point?
Well, what I do right now isn't that much. I'm mainly a host to people that, ask questions
Mm-hmm.
about maritime things and local area.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a problem with this leg that they can't figure out.
Oh, dear.
But it feels, my foot will feel heavy, and it will cause me to stagger around at the worst. But ironically, it has never bothered me when I've been down working.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of strange because I worked Friday and Saturday, 8 hours each.
Wow.
And it's never bothered me during that time. And I can't figure out exactly why that is.
Yeah, I hope you were able to find out and overcome that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you still drive and everything.
Uh-huh.
Oh, good, good.
Yes, it's never bothered me while I've been in an automobile, driving or passenger. But sometimes it does shortly after I get out.
Sure. Kendrick, growing up, who was one of the most influential people in your life? Was there anyone who stands out as a real mentor or as a very important figure to you?
Well, probably a number would have to share that. Yeah.
Any names that you think of offhand?
No, not really.
Yeah. Okay. What's the earliest memory that you have in your life when you were growing up? What's the earliest memory that you have about your home, about your parents? How old were you at?
Well, I don't know. Some people seem to be able to go back when they were really young, but I really never could do that. Maybe my mother used to make lemonade on really hot days and set out the shade on the porch. We had some really nice shade trees.
Oh, yeah.
That I always enjoyed that.
Oh, how wonderful. Right.
There was a retired man named Fred Monroe, and he'd stop by, and my mother would give him some lemonade. He'd like that. And he'd, over the hotel store, he'd buy them little fake cigarettes, you know.
Yeah.
They were white with red on the end.
Yeah.
He'd use them as if he was smoking.
What was the saddest time in your life?
Oh, there was more than one.
Yeah.
I don't know that I
Think of
could.
any time that you were especially very sad and, disappointed or...
Oh, I've been disappointed lots of times.
Do you do much reading?
I used to do quite a bit, but I'd do too much, so I'd have to cut it out because I had other things to do. But no, I got a vision problem. I read some, but not a lot.
Any type of literature you like to read? Mystery novels or
I liked historical novels.
historical novels? How about your political life? Would you be a Democrat now, like your
No,
father?
absolutely. Now would be the very worst time to be a Democrat.
Well, it's a family tradition. That's why I was wondering.
No.
Would you be more like an independent, like your dad?
No, I was pretty much conservative.
So you would align yourself with the Republican Party?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find political life kind of interesting nowadays?
Well, I just can't believe anyone would vote for Biden.
I see. Yeah,
He don't seem competent. Plus, everything he does is a tragedy.
I see. Yeah. Interesting.
But they say you shouldn't talk politics, and I'll go along with that. But back when I was younger, I liked to talk politics.
Sure, of course.
And there was a guy, Everett Boudelier.
Oh, yeah.
I used to drink with him, and we'd argue politics, but we never would get in a score. Well, once in a while, I think he'd come to blows with someone on politics, but he never did.
That was Red Boudelier?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's wonderful. It is interesting how it does become, sometimes you can talk politics with anyone, whether you agree with them or not, but other times it gets a little bit on the difficult side.
Yeah, and I used to like to joke and fool with people when I was in the Navy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was friendly with guys that were Catholics, that was Irish and like that.
Yeah.
And they'd talk about Southerners being prejudiced, and I'd say, how in the world can they be more prejudiced than the hard-headed Irishman? And we'd almost come to blows, but not quite.
Out of curiosity, what are your national roots? Where do your parents or grandparents go back to? What country do they come from?
Oh, I guess probably Great Britain, or maybe a little bit Germany,
Germany, okay.
but they never talked about Germany any.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would be some German descent,
Sure,
and the rest British Isles.
right. Uh, Tell me about any very embarrassing times in your life. Were you ever really embarrassed about something?
More than once,
Oh.
but I don't know how many times, but I can safely say it's more than once.
Okay. What was the situation that made you embarrassed? Did you have to dance or something like that?
No, I wasn't much of a dancer.
Okay.
Except more recently down to the saloon.
Oh,
I got to take my sweater off, I guess. It's warm enough in here.
oh God.
Oh,
Oh,
well, I don't really have to.
okay, we're drawing to an end anyways. Then.
Yeah.
How about your favorite food? If you had any meal, what would it be? What's your favorite meal?
Oh, it'd probably be seafood
Oh,
or steak, although I can't cook steak for some reason.
I see.
Yeah.
And you
Well-
always cook by yourself right here?
Well, since I've been here alone,
Mm-hmm.
what little cooking I do.
Mm-hmm. Oh. What was the best present you ever received?
Gee, I don't know. I'd have to think of that a while.
Great. Look, Kendrick, thank you so much. You're wonderful to share all these personal things with us about this. You're one of the greatly admired people in Round Pond, and I've always loved being with you there in the harbor and chatting about fishing and all kinds of things. So we thank you very, very much for sharing with us this morning. Any other things you would like to share or say?
No, I guess not.
Okay, well, again, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful interview, and you'll be able to see it in a few weeks.
Okay.
Great. Anything else, Chuck, that we should talk about?
No, I think that's good. Really well done.
Okay, well, again, Kendrick, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good.